Breaking news coming in. Indian wrestlers Bajrang Punia and Vinesh Phogat have taken to Twitter and expressed disappointment with the recently appointed oversight committee. In a tweet, they said that the committee was formed without any consultation with the wrestlers. The oversight committee formed by the Sports Ministry includes Mary Com, Yogeshwar Dutt, Trupti Murugunde, Rajagopal and Radhika Shriman. Latest coming in, there's dangle going on at the moment, as you already know, for justice by the Indian wrestlers. Now, Bajrang Punia, Vinesh Phogat have taken to Twitter expressing disappointment with the recently appointed oversight committee. They are not happy with this committee. They are not happy. It's evident because they put out a tweet saying that the committee was formed without consultation of the wrestlers, and the oversight committee formed by the Sports Ministry including Mary Com, Yogeshwar Dutt, Trupti Murugunde, Rajagopal and Radhika Shriman seems that it's not acceptable to them. So now the wait and watch is that what and how does the Sports Ministry react to this, because there has been a committee which has been formed much to the disapproval of the wrestlers who actually have the problem. So then the question arises is that what are their expectations and what kind of committee would they like to see, and what are the problems with the existing committee? Is it a problem with the members of this committee? If so, which members of the committee they have a problem with? All of this is something that our reporters will get you, because we'll have to hear it from the horse's mouth. We'll have to hear it from the Indian wrestlers what their objection really is. But prima facie, from the tweet they've put out, it's very evident that this is not acceptable to them. And now the onus definitely falls on Anurag Thakur's ministry, the Sports Ministry, to come up with a plausible resolution which is acceptable to everyone. Nikhil Naz now joins us. Nikhil, many questions come up. What is the issue with this panel? And if there is an issue with this panel, who exactly do they have a problem with in this panel? And what, according to them, would be a plausible course of action? And then the onus then falls on the Sports Ministry too.
Well, Jyoti, just to let you know, I mean, you remember that the aggrieved wrestlers had a meeting with the Sports Ministry, and in fact, it was two rounds of meeting that they had at the Sports Minister's residence. They were assured that, listen, they will form a committee, and that committee will fairly look into all the charges that were being leveled against the Wrestling Federation. After which the wrestlers then called off their dharna, which they were doing at Jantar Mantar. But what the wrestlers are unhappy about is that 5-member committee that has been set up by the Sports Ministry. They haven't named anyone, but have said that a few members of that committee, they say that, you know, we were told at the time that when the committee would be set up, we would be consulted in terms of the members that would have been appointed. But they say, unfortunately, we were not consulted, and the committee has been set up without any consultation. And this is something that they're not happy about. They really haven't come out and named any member who they wouldn't want in the committee, so that's not been made clear. But it's clear right now, and it's not just one wrestler. We've heard it now from.
But you know, Nikhil, it's important to know what exactly the problem is with this particular committee. Yes, they voiced their displeasure, but what exactly is the problem? Because unless and until they say what they have a problem with, the Sports Ministry will not be able to take corrective course of action.
Well, that's right, Jyoti. So we'll have to wait for the wrestlers then to come out what that really problem is, something that they really are aggrieved about at the moment. Probably they don't want to come out in the open and address it in the media. Probably they want to address it behind closed doors, to go to the Sports Minister and then actually come out with their problem. But clearly, they would have tried to make an attempt in getting their message across to the Sports Ministry. Once that may not have happened, that's when they've decided to go public. Maybe now that the media highlights, maybe they will have another round of meeting and they can actually pinpoint what are the, is there an individual that they have an issue with? Is it the entire committee that they're not happy about? Also, you must remember there are 2 members of this committee that are also in the committee that
could it also be that, you know, they were consulted by the Sports Ministry. They in principle agreed to have an oversight committee, but now after the names of the committee members have come out, they are disapproving of the people who formed the committee.
Well, that's exactly how it is, Chetty. As I mentioned at the start, that this was agreed upon, that there will be a committee in place. This was agreed by both the parties, and that was made very clear earlier. it's clearly after the names that have really come out that they're unhappy about it. And it's clearly the composition of the committee that hasn't gone down well with the wrestlers. That's pretty evident because that wanted a committee. This is something that was agreed upon by both parties to begin with.
So over and above a tweet, Nikhil, are they planning to now have a private dialogue with the sports ministry? Are they planning to go ahead with some dharna? What is their course of action? Because we just have a tweet at the moment.
Well, Jyoti, I mean, since this is a developing story, we'll get to know what their next course of action is. Having seen what has transpired, recently, you could fairly assume that they may have tried to get that message across to the sports ministry. Once it did not, probably, I mean, this is the last resort when you go public because, once then it is highlighted by the media, there'll be some sort of a, dialogue then between sports ministry and the wrestlers. Though there could still be a question asked. I mean, sports ministry on their own accord could be right if they were to question why should the sports ministry be consulting the wrestlers as to what the composition of that committee should be. I mean, if you want a fair and independent committee and if you're not happy with certain players, should the wrestlers who are also party to that entire investigation be the ones that decide who the members should be?
That's a very good
point. That same thing. On the same thing, you could then have the...
But then the other side, Nikhil, is that you're running into the same argument on the other side as well, because the person who they've complained against is the Bharatiya Janata Party member, and the sports ministry, as you already know, the Anurag Thakur is from the BJP. So there's another side of that argument.